Hello everyone. Good evening. Welcome to another webinar by Internal Education. If you can hear me well, can you please say hello in your chat boxes? Maybe type where you're from. So it's Internal Education speaking from Kiev. And hi to Chernihiv. Hello. Nice to see you all here today on this Friday night. Hello to Lviv. So we've got people again from all over Ukraine and Kharkiv. So both the West and the East are here. That's great. Hello to Kiev Oblast, Brovary and Poltava. More and more people are joining. Great. Nizhyn, Bohuslav. So again, Kiev Oblast is here. Hello to Zhytomyr. See you in a week, actually, some of you. Wow, hello to Norway. So we are going international today. Great. That's always nice to see and to hear that, you know, so many people are joining us here today. So for some of you that may be, you know, here for the first time, just a couple of words about the company. So we're Internal Education, the company that exclusively represents Pірсон publisher here in Ukraine. And that means that we not only provide teachers with, you know, high-quality ELT materials, but we also take part in teachers' professional development. We organize lots of seminars and workshops and webinars. And today we've got actually the last webinar this calendar year. We're going to talk about High Note, the book for upper secondary school. And that is right. So we're coming closer to the end of the first term. It's the 6th of December already. Can you imagine like how fast these, you know, 4 months went? And this actually means that holiday season is just around the corner. So I hope you already have decorated your classrooms and you're all in your Christmassy mood. And if you take a look at this picture of this lovely living room, you probably notice that something is missing on the picture. Can you tell me what? Which very important, you know, feature or attribute of Christmas or New Year is missing on this picture? Right, so you're absolutely correct. There are no presents under the Christmas tree. This is what all of us are waiting every holiday season. So I've got a question for you. What do you want to get as a present this new year? For example, I'm dreaming about this, you know, collection of illustrated Harry Potter books illustrated by Jim Kay. I think they are wonderful. I'd like to have them all in my library. Somebody also wants a book that's great, new paints. So we've got creative people, we've got artists in here. That's great. Health, right. So that is very important, especially for teachers. You know, it's important to sustain your health well. More books. Well, lots of people are saying books, which is, you know, quite well with me, because Pірсон actually has 2 presents for you this year. And they are 2 new titles for upper secondary school, 2 new books. The first one is High Note, the one that we're going to talk about today. And the other one is the 2nd edition of Focus, our best-selling title for upper secondary, for teenagers, for exam prep. So both these titles will be available in 2020, so you can start your new school year next year with a fresh and brand new book. And maybe some of you have watched webinars by my colleague Olena Mihoduy this week or last week that were devoted to Focus 2nd edition and what's great and what's new in the book and how the book has changed. But, well, today we're going to take a first glance at the brand new resource that's called High Note. So you'll be the first people who find out anything about this wonderful resource. So what is actually High Note? Well, High Note, of course, is the book for upper secondary school students. And the main idea of the book is to cover this difference, this gap between what students experience in their school life in the lessons in the classroom and what is waiting for them when they go out of the school, when they finish school, when they become young adults, go to the university, start their career, and so on. So this is what the book is aimed at, to bridge this gap. And to do that, the book has 5 levels, which cover several levels from A2 to C1, so the course will cater for any student's needs, no matter what level they are right now. There will be a perfectly leveled book for any of your students within the course of High Note. Speaking about components, actually this will be the first thing that is quite different with High Note from any other resources, even from the Pірсон publisher. If we speak about components for your students, for example, of course, in your set you get the student's book to work in the classroom, and you also get the workbook to work at home. But that is not it, that's not all, because every student will also get access to some extra digital resources on My English Lab, some extra activities to do on grammar and vocabulary and use of English and reading, lots and lots of extra tasks for them. And that is not yet it, again, because every student will also get a mobile app with the access to all the audio and video materials to the course. So this is something that will make using the resource even more convenient in any kind of classroom. And by the way, that is, a small secret for you, but the app is currently available with some materials as a demo. So if you are watching from your computers, you can take your phone now and you can scan the QR codes on the screen for Android or for iOS. You can download the app and take the first look at what's in there, what resources are in there for High Note and also for Focus Second Edition, by the way. And you can listen to some audios, you can check the functions like controlling the speed of the audio, so you can play with it a little bit before you make the decision. So this is something you can do. So take a second, I'll wait just another moment for you to scan the QR codes. If somebody missed it and didn't have time, don't worry, I'll go back to them at the end of the webinar so that you can do it well. So let's move on. So this was this basic set that everybody can work with, but okay, so I think some people are experiencing some listening, audio problems. Well, if you can't hear me, try to log out and log back in. This may help. So with the basic set, everything is clear now. But if you are a more, modern, up-to-date teacher, you want to introduce more blended learning into your classroom, you can choose the blended version where you'll have the whole workbook online available on My English Lab. And what benefits it can bring to you, I'll tell you a little bit later on during our webinar. So this is what the students get. But what do the teachers get? That's the most interesting question for us, right? Of course, you'll get your teacher's book. That's clear. That's absolutely necessary. And you will get the class audio CDs to work in the classroom, to work with your students. That's also understandable. But another thing that every teacher will get is access to the teacher's portal. This is the brand new thing by Pірson, and it hides lots of different gems for teachers, which we'll again discuss a little bit later on. So now you may be wondering, so okay, we're clear about the levels, the components, but how is High Note different from any other book, any other resource for upper secondary school that you may be using right now? How is it unique? And I've been investigating the book for more than a month now, and I can say that I'm already in love with the resource, and it has so much in it that it will take dozens of webinars to tell you about all the wonderful features of the book. But today I decided to just focus on 3 features that you may be interested in, something that may help you to decide if you're going to take a closer look at the resource later on, or if maybe you want to postpone it, for a month or two. So the first feature, I hope you helped me to guess what it is. This is something very important, something that we always talk about when choosing resources for any level of students, any age, any school level, of course. This is something all the students want to get in their books and something all the teachers want to see in the resource. So can you guess, can you type in the chat box what that is? Right, so I think Yulia was the first to guess. Of course, that is engaging content. So again, this is something that we understand is absolutely necessary to keep our students active on the lessons. The content of the lessons should be interesting, should be relevant to them. But when I thought about it, so engaging, what does it mean, engaging content? I think, well, because we are talking about upper secondary school students, they've been studying English for some time, right? And lots of topics are repeated every year. And I think that it is very important that the content in which they study, the context in which they study these topics is not trivial, is not, usual, is something that they haven't seen before. So this is exactly how High Note was created. For example, let's take easy topic, the topic that every teacher likes, of course, which is Great Britain, right? English-speaking countries, we've got it in our program. So again, this is not the new topic for upper secondary school students. They've probably already discussed it maybe even several times when they were in the lower secondary school. So you may want to start with some kind of a quiz on what they already know in this topic. And surely there will be some questions, about some trivial things like sites in London, double-deckers, the Queen, the Parliament, Westminster Abbey, and so on. But we can also try to make it more interesting, try to make it more relevant to modern students. For example, we can ask them if they know a British graffiti artist who likes to be anonymous. So maybe some of you know, maybe you've seen, this is one of the most famous pictures of him. And nobody actually knows what his real name is, but he hides under this pseudonym, which is, lots of people are typing. Well, his name is Banksy, so he's very popular in Great Britain. His graffiti are even sold on auctions, so he is really, really famous now. And the other question could be, who is this young woman that has a great voice? I'm sure that you've heard lots of her songs. She received several Grammys. Yes, you're absolutely right. This is Adele. So this is something that the students will be, of course, very interested to learn about, to talk about. This is something that they know a lot about. And actually this quiz about Great Britain, it comes from the grammar lesson, because this is the context for the grammar topic, relative pronouns. Remember, the woman that, the artist who. This is how this relatively dry and dull topic is presented in a brand new way in High Note. And it happens with almost every topic in the resource. It is always, turned inside out to make it more interesting, more engaging for the students. For example, take a look at this picture. This is a very sad seal, unfortunately. Can you guess, can you give me any examples of when you can feel like this poor seal is feeling? In which situations do you look like this, or do you feel like this? Do you feel so sad? maybe when you lose something, especially something that you cannot replace, when you're very tired, right, and have maybe lots of work to do still, saying goodbye to some people. Okay, when you have no sound on the webinar, that's true. That's how I am feeling right now, because you have no sound and I'm still talking. I hope you can fix it all. Well, actually, this is how you can feel when you're telling a story to your friends or to your students, and then you realize that nobody is listening. Of course, that it also happens in the classroom, right? And this is just one of the pictures in this lesson, which again presents a grammar topic of indefinite pronouns here. So somewhere, nobody, anyone, it is presented in such a fun way that is very close to students, because I'm sure you know these pictures with these funny captions under them. They are called memes, right? They're very popular nowadays. Teenagers love memes. They love creating them, sharing them. They spread throughout the internet worldwide. And actually, not only teens like memes, I think adults do too, and teachers are no exception. There are some groups on Facebook devoted to teacher memes, and I'm a part of such groups. And just recently, a friend of mine sent me this picture. So I'm sure that many of you recognized Ross from the sitcom Friends. And I also hope that nobody here is feeling like Ross is feeling on the picture, because, we've got the second term upon us. It's not the end of the school year yet, but still, right, this is a very popular thing that is common to all the people in any, surrounding, anywhere, in any environment. And this is something teens will be happy to talk about and to see in the resource, something very relevant to them, but something that is presented in the course book. So this is something new with High Note. And in this field, High Note is pretty daring, touching some topics that I have never seen in a course book. For example, can you imagine how your students will feel when they see in the course book a text like this? Epic teacher fails, where teachers discuss some embarrassing things that happen to them in the classroom. For example, this teacher, Jill, tells us a story when she had a project and there were some posters made, so she decided to put them up on the wall, and she stood on her chair, but unfortunately the chair had wheels, right? So she rode the chair across the room, and thank God she had enough self-irony, which I actually think every teacher has to possess, to tell the students that it was okay to laugh, because of course this is a funny situation and they happen to everyone. I think that this idea of understanding that teachers are the same humans, the same ordinary people as everybody else is important to understand, both for teachers and students, so it will be beneficial for everyone. And of course, they will be happy to listen to some stories that happen to you in your classroom. That's true. But if you feel that you are not ready to share with your students, maybe you don't know them that well yet, don't worry, because this is not just a text to read and discuss. This is, again, the context from a grammar lesson. And if you take a closer look at the text, you'll see that the topic here was past simple. So anyway, there will be lots of exercises to do and lots of things to discuss apart from the content of the text on this lesson. And this is another example how High Note makes any topic, interesting and relevant to students. And, fails don't only happen in the classroom, right? They happen outside the school walls too, and especially when language is involved. So sometimes we feel confused, sometimes we don't understand someone, we feel disoriented. So these situations can be called, communication fails, when the dialogue doesn't flow as we want it to. And such situations happen even to native speakers. So Now we're going to watch a video from High Note about these two tourists that you can see on the slide right now, the guy in the pink shorts and the red-haired girl. So we'll watch the video, and I want you to listen attentively to everybody speaking and try to guess where the brunette girl is from. She is not in the picture now. She will be at the end of the video. But just listen to her talking, listen to everyone in the video, and try to guess where she is from. Okay, so let's watch the video.
Excuse me, what time is the next train to Glasgow?
5:59.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you say it again, please?
5:59.
59! 2 tickets for the 5:59 to Glasgow, please. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, which platform does the train leave from?
I'd buy.
I'm sorry, we're from California. We find it hard to understand English accents.
I'd buy.
8B!
That's right. I'd buy.
I'd buy. Thank you.
We've got 2 hours to wait. Are you hungry?
Yeah, I am. Let's go eat.
Burgers?
Excuse me, we want to get lunch. Where's the nearest hamburger restaurant?
There's one in the station, but there's a really good one in the Brunswick Centre.
How far is it to the Brunswick Center?
It's not far, it's about...
Is there a bus we can catch to get there?
Or maybe we can take a cab. Where's the nearest taxi rank?
The taxi rank is over there, but you can walk. It's only 5 minutes. But maybe you should leave your bags in the left luggage.
Yeah, maybe. Where is the left luggage?
Next to platform 16.
Thanks for your help. You're real kind.
Yeah, and it's so nice to finally speak to someone we can understand. What part of England are you from?
So, do you have any ideas? Can you guess where this brunette girl is from? The one who told them about the left luggage and the taxi rank. Do you have any idea? So we've got lots of people thinking she's from Glasgow. Could be. Okay, London, Spain, USA. Okay, so now we have broadened the geography of the guesses. Great. Okay, still Glasgow, London. She's from USA. Yeah, the guys are from California, right? The tourists are from California. London, USA, Glasgow. Okay, so we've got the 3 main ideas, USA, London, and Glasgow. Kiev, yeah, it could be. She kind of looks like a Ukrainian girl, that's true. So let's watch the end of the video and find out where she is from.
I'm not from England.
No? Where are you from?
I'm from Portugal.
Yeah, so now we've heard, now we know that she's actually from Portugal. So you see, we always speak about English being international, right, being an international language of communication, and we understand we need to expose our students to different accents. And High Note went pretty far with showing different accents, like in this video also. And it will be very interesting and useful for students to understand that sometimes even native speakers don't understand each other, and that's okay. And sometimes it is easier to understand somebody who is speaking English as a foreign language than a native speaker. So maybe that will make them, more self-confident, more confident in their English and not so shy while talking to native speakers, talking to other people. So this is one of the communication videos that are present in HighNote. They are present in every speaking lesson, and they suggest the context for the functional language that is learned on this lesson. These are not the only videos that HighNote possesses. There are also documentary videos that end each reading lesson, and they broaden the topic of the reading text. Plus, they have, the whole lesson's worth of exercises, so they can be done as a separate lesson with the reading, with the project and everything. So there's lots of information for students to learn about. And there are also grammar videos that are kind of similar to Vox Pops videos in Wider World or to Focus Vlogs in Focus 2nd edition. These are the interviews of people on the streets of London, and they present the target language of the particular grammar lesson. So all these things combined create this engaging and relevant content that students will love to learn English in, I hope. And the second feature of HighNote, which is absolutely unique to this resource for now, this is the only book that has something like this, is, I hope you will again help me and quickly guess what this is. This is something that we talk about a lot nowadays with, New Ukrainian School, and right, okay, so you're absolutely correct. This is the life skills development. So again, with the competency-based learning, we understand it's important for us not just to teach the language as it is, but also to develop different skills that students will need in the future life. And if you remember, this is the main idea of the resource of HighNote, to connect the experience the students have at school and the experiences they will have when they finish school, when they start studying at the university, when they go to work, and so on. With that in mind, the authors of HighNote created a whole HighNote life skills development program, which lasts throughout the whole course, all the 5 levels, and lots of different skills are taught in HighNote in these lessons. And they are all divided into 3 categories: academic and career-related, social, and personal development skills. So now we're going to take a look at some of the skills, and I want you to try to guess which category this particular skill belongs to. Sometimes it's very easy to identify. Sometimes it may be a little bit tricky. So let's see if we can choose the correct category for each of the skills. And the first one is giving successful presentations. So this is absolutely necessary in the modern world, and we've got lots of people answering right. You're absolutely correct. The main area where they'll have to present different ideas is, of course, in their studies at the university, and after finishing university, when they go to work. I think no one can imagine the modern professional that cannot, give a pitch or present any kind of a report or research that he's done in his job. Okay, great, well done. What about identifying fake news? Another very important skill nowadays, because of course we are in this environment all the time where we receive lots of information, and you're absolutely correct, all of you. This is a very important social skill, because social media and the internet in general play an integral part in our lives nowadays. We get most of our information from the internet, and unfortunately not everything on the internet is true. So sometimes it may be, a vital skill to identify whether this news is fake or true. And this is something that students will learn to do using high note. What about time management? So this one is a little bit tricky maybe. It's not that obvious because there are some options here, I think. So if you see where I'm going with this activity, you probably guess that it should be C. It's a personal skill that is very important for every person and for every human. But you're absolutely right mentioning any other group, because once we develop it in our personality, of course, we will use it in our social life, in our career, in our studies, everywhere. Time management is important. Being punctual, being able to manage the time you have on different tasks is very, very important in any of the spheres you may be working with or studying in. And these are these life skills spreads that are present every 2 units in every level of high note, where students will get some interesting context in which the skill may be developed. Then there is a how-to box with lots of tips on how to develop this skill, and it always ends with a life skill project where they have to implement to show the skills that they've developed and how well they can do this particular thing now. Okay, so we've got lots of people saying A, B, C. You're absolutely right. So some skills, they belong to any category. They just pierce through our life and they are influence every sphere, every field that we'll maybe connected with. So this is the life skills program, something absolutely unique that we can only find in high note for now. And the last, but not the least, of course, especially for us, the last feature for today, at least, is something I've already hinted on before at the very beginning, something very important for everybody who is here right now on this webinar, either, presenting or watching, because we are all teachers here. And this is, of course, right, this is teacher support. So we understand that with any kind of resource, it's important to have all the necessary supplementary materials, all the information on how to work with the resource, some extra materials to be used with students of different level of ability and so on. So no wonder that Pірсон decided to create such a thing that is called Pірson English Portal. So this is the huge online platform that has lots of resources in there. And for example, with high note, what teachers get is, of course, all the extra materials for the book that are the audios and videos, photocopyables, tests, some extra lessons, the assessment package in general, and something that is called presentation tool. So what presentation tool is a mixture of Active Teach. This is something that used to be on the DVDs sold by Pірson as a supplement to almost every course. And basically this is the tool to be used with an interactive whiteboard, so an interactive version of the book. Plus, in the presentation tool, teachers will also find very detailed lesson planning. So all these two things combined create this presentation tool, which is absolutely free now, so you don't need to buy it apart from the book, as an extra resource. You just access it through the code in the teacher's book, and this is what you get. So in the presentation tool, there are, of course, all the units of the book of this level, and for each unit you will see every lesson in the student's book and in the workbook. So you can see they are color-coded. Student's book is colorful, workbook is black and white. This is how you can easily navigate your unit. And for each lesson, there are two options. you can either plan it or teach. So let's see what's in there. So if you choose to plan the lesson, you will see every exercise that is on the page with some teacher's notes. So when you open the notes, you will see the description of the task, you will see the instructions how to set up the task, of course the answers. If it's the first exercise of the lesson, for example, like in our case here, you will also get the lead-in or the warm-up to use in this particular lesson. So you just read through all these notes, you decide whether you want to do it like this or whether you maybe want to change it a little bit. And when you go throughout the whole lesson plan, you can of course move on to teaching the lesson in your classroom, which basically means working with the interactive whiteboard. So you will get your lesson, you will get your page or a spread with all the exercises that are interactive. So you can click on it and there is the listening track integrated with subtitles. There are some attachments like rules for grammar exercises, for example. Of course, you can fill it in, you can show the answers, you can write all over the exercise, so you can write some comments. So basically do anything that you used to be doing with Active Teach. So this is what presentation tool is about, the combination of planning before the lesson and working interactively at the lesson. But presentation tool is only one thing that the teachers get for their support. The other thing, again, something that I have already mentioned today, is My English Lab. So maybe some of you have already heard or maybe even are using My English Lab with any other Pірсон resource. Then you can maybe share your experience with the colleagues here in the chat box. But put very simply, My English Lab is an interactive online version of the workbook where students do their homework, they do the exercises, and it checks everything automatically. So if you're using My English Lab, it means that you no longer need to spend, 10-15 minutes at the beginning of the lesson to check homework or spend hours checking workbooks if you collect them and check all the exercises. So the program checks everything for you, and what you get is something that's called Gradebook, where you just go in and you see your group, you see the results in percentage and the actual grade that you can straight put to the register. And the next time you go to the lesson, you never more need to ask, who has done your homework? Do you have any problems? Do you have any questions? Because you already know what they did, how they did it, what mistakes they had, and you can start with error correction, you can start commenting on the work, which of course will make the lesson more efficient and will save lots of your free time and lots of time on the lesson so that you can do more communication activities, for example. So this is something that is provided with HighNote for the teacher support. All the necessary resources, the presentation tool for planning and interactively working with students on the lesson, and My English Lab to work online at home. And well, these are these 3 things, just the first features for you to know about HighNote. I hope that you will love the resource just as much as I do, because I think it's great. I can't stop looking through the pages. It's so colorful, so interesting, and the content is, so relevant even for me. I find lots of familiar things in there. So, if you want to learn more, так, якщо ви хочете дізнатись більше про ресурс, про майбутні вебінари, які почнуться з наступного семестру, або про конкурси, які будуть відбуватись пов'язані з HighNote, переглянути безкоштовні юніти і так далі, будь ласка, переходьте за посиланням, яке зараз знаходиться на екрані. Можете його собі сфотографувати або зробити скріншот екрану. english.internal.education/HighNote. І там ви можете побачити багато цікавої інформації про ресурс, переглянути демо-відео, а також заповнити таку невеличку анкетку, підписатись на розсилку саме по цьому підручнику, аби бути першим, хто дізнається, коли він з'явиться у нас в магазині, коли можна буде його переглянути. Буде запрошений на всі вебінари, семінари, все, що пов'язано з High Note. Будь ласка, заповнюйте анкетку, приєднуйтесь до нас, ми будемо дуже-дуже раді вас бачити. Якщо ж хтось з ваших колег, можливо, не встиг подивитись якісь вебінари з цієї серії про High Note і Focus Second Edition, або будь-які інші вебінари від Internal Education, я нагадую, що на нашому сайті elt.internal.com.ua ви можете переглянути вебінари у запису, а також до багатьох з них ви можете пройти тест, аби отримати сертифікат за перегляд навіть в режимі офлайн, тобто у записі не беручи участь у вебінарі безпосередньо. І також, звичайно, будь ласка, підписуйтесь на нашу сторінку у Фейсбуці, Internal Education. Всі новини в першу чергу з'являються там, як ми вже казали, social media, без них зараз нікуди. Все найсвіжіше, вся нова інформація про конкурси, про всі івенти завжди з'являється на нашій сторінці у Facebook. Тому, будь ласка, підписуйтесь, слідкуйте за новинами, беріть участь у наших заходах. І, знову ж таки, нагадую, що, звичайно, сертифікат за участь у сьогоднішньому вебінарі ви отримаєте на свою електронну пошту впродовж тижня після вебінару. Тобто до наступної п'ятниці вам має надійти щасливий лист з додатковою інформацією про підручник, з посиланням, знову ж таки, на сторінку, присвячену підручнику, з анкеткою, яку ви можете заповнити, і з вашим сертифікатом для вашого портфоліо. Якщо у вас є якісь питання стосовно підручника, то, будь ласка, я побуду тут ще декілька хвилин, можете задавати. А наразі дуже дякую всім, що приєднались до мене цієї п'ятниці. Бажаю вам гарного вечора і гарних вихідних, гарненько відпочити. І ще зовсім трошки залишилось, декілька тижнів. І Новий рік, свята, і все буде чудово. Дуже дякую і вам за те, що приєднались до мене тут сьогодні. Сподіваюсь, було цікаво, інформативно. Якщо ви не отримуєте сертифікати за вебінари, будь ласка, зв'яжіться з нами, не чекайте місяць, два-три, дуже важко, потім складно знайти, що саме за вебінар то був. Якщо впродовж тижня ви не отримали сертифікат, будь ласка, зв'язуйтесь за телефонами, з електронною поштою, на сайті, до вашого менеджера звертайтесь, обов'язково все знайдемо і все надішлемо. Дякую вам всім, що були сьогодні тут зі мною. Звичайно, як тільки книжки з'являться в Україні, тому що ми поки що маємо тільки такі демонстраційні варіанти, вони ще не приїхали, вони приїдуть після Нового року, але, звичайно, вони абсолютно всі будуть на ePanel, тому якщо ви звикли користуватись цим продуктом, це прекрасно, все буде доступно там. Аудіо, відео, сподіваюсь, книжки, все як зазвичай. Плюс портал. Так, питають про підручник Roadmap. Підручник Roadmap також доступний на ePanel. Якщо питання про це, якщо вам просто цікаво переглянути, подивитись, ви можете прийти до нас в шоурум або зв'язатися з вашим менеджером, і він розкаже вам все, що вас буде цікавити про цей курс для дорослих. Якщо... Отже, якщо питань більше нема, то знову ж таки дуже дякую вам за те, що були сьогодні тут зі мною. І побачимось наступного разу. На все добре, гарних вихідних всім.